everyone, and welcome to Live Repurpose Live, where we help you to rethink your priorities to create a life that you truly love. My name is Lissa Figgins, and it's my mission to help after 40 women like you to rethink your priorities in 7 key areas so you can find where to put your focus to create more balance, more growth, and more impact. And it's my intention each and every week to introduce you to an amazing woman who can also inspire and help you on that journey. So today, I'm excited to introduce you to my friend Pavan Veltman. She's a high performance coach, and she helps busy women who want less stress, have more energy, and a bolder life. Anyone, right? What I love about Pavan's approach is that it's holistic, and it's built on the belief that your physical, your mental, and your spiritual well-being is the key. And so today, she's going to be sharing with us how doing a little bit of spring cleaning can give you less stress, more health, and more energy, which I think we all need right now. So Pavan, thank you so much for being here today. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about where you live, what you do, and kind of your journey to getting to this place where you're helping others with these things.
Well, hi, Lissa. Thank you so much for inviting me, first of all. Well, let's see. I've lived all over the place, and I actually started my career in film and television, and then I went on a vacation in Europe, horseback riding, and met someone. Yes, the one man in the group, and I married a Dutchman, and I've been, yeah. So I moved here to the Netherlands, and I've been living here, gosh, for the past 24 years or so.
Who knew, right? A vacation could change your life like that.
Crazy, right? And well, what happened was when I came here, I decided I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And I turned 40, and I was not well. I'd always eaten really healthy, especially like, being from LA, and, I didn't eat junk food, nothing like that. But still, I was like putting on weight, and I was eating less and less, and oh my God, but I was like really stressed out about it, and, imagining I'm going to just turn into this balloon. And I ended up watching this movie called Super Size Me. And I don't know if you remember that, this guy who ate McDonald's. And at the very, very end, his girlfriend put him on a detox diet. And I had never heard of detoxing. I don't think pretty much anyone had at the time. It wasn't the fad that it is now. So I was like, let me try that. So I went and did a whole bunch of research. How do I do this? And I did a detox for 3 weeks, a holistic detox. So not just the food, but also just like the meditation and the movement. And after less than 2 weeks, people actually started stopping me in the street and saying, oh my God, what happened to you? Even like people I barely knew, they're like, you look amazing. What have you done? What have you done? Tell me. And yeah. And so I was like, oh, it's easy. You just do this and this and this. I'm like, can't you just write it down for me? So I ended up writing a book about it. And that one thing led to another. And now I coach people and help them to, because it, not only did you lose weight, I looked better. I had more energy. I never got sick anymore. It was just my whole life changed, really.
Yeah, it's almost like this new normal that you didn't even know was possible, right? I think so many people are living on the other side, full of toxins. And I love how you talk about physical as well as mental, as well as spiritual. And that's what we start thinking is normal. And we don't even know the life that we could be missing out on. So just curious for your own personal experience, you said you did that. How long did you do that initial one for? Or has this just become a lifestyle of just, once you started, you've never stopped?
Oh gosh, no. I did it for 3 weeks because that's really all you need. Okay. And really what happened was some of my habits actually changed because I had done it for 3 weeks. But after the 3 weeks, I went back to, still eating healthy, which I always did anyway, but eating more normally, except for things that I didn't care for anymore.
Right.
And I actually kept losing weight until my body was at its normal, what it was supposed to be. It was really weird. It was like my body had been completely reset and it was working normally. And so it just was like, okay, down on down. And then when it was at the right weight, it stopped, and it was great. Yeah. And, I try to do it once a year, just,
Okay. Now, I think when people hear detox, they think scary. They think, and I don't know, so this is where I'm curious. I'm going to say what I hear people say is detox. Is that thing where you like live on like water with maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and lemon juice for like, 3 weeks? Seriously? Because some people are like, I couldn't even do that for a day, let alone 3 weeks.
Right.
So what, like, can you tell us a little bit without giving everything away, but what kinds of things does a detox actually involve, just so we know what that process looks like?
Yeah, no, the horror. The thing is, I'd never done a diet in my entire life. I thought diets were stupid, and I still do, actually. And I'm a foodie, and I love to cook. So I was like, if I have to suffer or starve or anything like this, I am doing it.
Right.
But actually, it's an Ayurvedic, what I did anyway, was an Ayurvedic detox. So it was like sort of a list. It's like, okay, you can have these ingredients and you need to avoid these ingredients. But everything I didn't have to count calories or starve, and everything I ate was delicious. So like, I'll give you an example. Okay, the most painful is you can't have coffee, but you can have green tea, or you can't have beef and pork, but you can have chicken and fish. Well, I like that anyway. Or you can't have white rice, but you can have brown rice. You can't have bread, but you can have rice cakes. There's always a tasty alternative, and you can make really delicious stuff. And just, and no sugar, but you can have honey, and you can have the occasional piece of chocolate. So, you don't have to like just suffer.
Right. So it's interesting because I remember hearing this years ago. I even remember where I was driving. I heard this on the radio. They said that there was it increases your chances of success. And they are specifically talking about like diets and things like that. If instead of saying, I can't have this, because that feels restrictive, like someone else has control, like, this is being done to me, right? And whenever we have those things, we naturally want to like fight back, right? But the whole shift was, instead of saying, I can't have this, I choose to have this. Right. And so like looking then at that list of those things that you are including, and say, not focusing on what I can't, right? Because now we're focusing on the lack, but we're looking at that thing that's actually probably going to add more nutrition, and is easier for our system and things like that. And this is a choice I'm making because of the result that this is going to bring that I want. Right. I love that. And so when you talk about like the mental part of it, is that a piece that comes in? Like, how does the mental detoxing happen?
Oh, the mental detoxing, that's actually a few things. So say that you fall off the wagon. You are absolutely not allowed to feel guilty about that, because guilt is like actually really, really toxic to your system. Your thoughts, your emotions, if they are negative, they actually affect your body. So and the thing, you think, oh well, and if it gets hard, I always say, hey, tell yourself it's only 3 weeks. What is 3 weeks out of your whole life? It's like a little drop of water in the ocean, Right. And the other thing is stress. Stress is just actually the worst toxin for your body. It releases cortisol and all kinds of other nasty hormones that actually stop your body from doing anything at all except either run or freeze or fight. Exactly. And so you're no longer digesting properly, you're no longer thinking clearly. It's just so I incorporate into my detoxes things that actually relieve your stress, like meditation, like walks, time for yourself. I think it's really important.
It's so interesting, because I think so often my audience is that after 40 women. So we think about how busy our life is, because either we still have some kids at home, or they're leaving the nest, or maybe we have grandkids, and maybe we have a business or a career. We, have a significant other. We're thinking about this next stage of life. And it's so easy to get caught up in all the things, and then say, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy to take care of myself.
Exactly.
And yeah, and then we're in this chronic stress that never goes away. Like you said, our body was created to be stressed, but not for a long period of time. Like to do it in the moment when you need to, get out of there, when you need to like grab your kid before, they run across the street, when those things, but not this, ongoing, there's never a break, because that's so much on the body,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. And it's like, I think especially women our age, our moms, at least my mom was just a stay-at-home mom, and that all she had to worry about was taking care of us and making meals. But we were like, okay, we're liberated women, so we're going to be moms, and we're going to take care of the house, and we're going to bring home the bacon, and but it's like, it's too much. It's just
Right.
it's more than any human can do, and we're like so focused on like not only doing that, but like doing it perfectly, because we have to prove that we can do it. And it's so stressful. And you need to find, you don't have to give it up, but you need to find the places where you can take shortcuts, cut corners. Do I really need to do that? Do I really need to see that person? Find your boundaries so that you can just stay healthy and have the energy to have that life that you want.
Right. Because if you're not, you're no good use to anyone, right? You want to be super mom, but if you are totally stressed out and full of all this toxic stuff, thoughts, as well as physical, your family is not getting a very good version of you. So
No.
I find that is awful. I say that's the selfish choice, right? Is to just keep going and not pause and pay attention to your body. So let's talk about this, right? Someone may be listening right now and going, okay, so I'm kind of like understanding this concept of what detoxing is about. And I have, maybe it's not the scary thing I thought that it was going to be. So I'm a little intrigued, but maybe she's asking herself right now, like, is this something that I should do? Like, is this for me? So like, who do you say that this kind of a detox is for?
Well, gosh, I've had all kinds of clients, men and women. I mean, think about it this way. If you're feeling tired, like waking up feeling tired all the time, if you catch every flu and cold that comes your way, if maybe you get headaches a lot, or you have achy joints, or you're having super mood swings, or in the 40s, you're starting to get all those menopause and perimenopause symptoms. This is like a really, really, really good thing to do. The first time I did it, I was starting to get menopause, and I was starting to get the hot flashes, and I did this. It all went away and did not come back until I was like 48. And I did this when I was 40. So, I mean, it really clears out everything and gives you so much energy that you actually then have the energy to do all the things that you want to do,
Right. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, it's a hormone thing, right? And when we've got all these hormones raging through our body when they're not supposed to be, then you've got these other processes that start kicking in. So for that woman who says, if I could push this off later, she would be a good person. So you talked about some signs. I heard you say some like, you're tired all the time. Maybe you're starting to experience some menopause things. From your own story, I heard, you're starting to put on weight and kind of not really understanding why.
Right, exactly.
Are there any other like, signs that someone, should or could be looking for that would be like, hey, maybe this is for me and I'm toxic and I need to do something?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just generally not feeling like your old self. So not feeling really tired when you wake up. Oh, not sleeping well, diminished sex drive. I mean, just like if your body is not operating at its maximum potential, this is something that will always help you. And also know, like, doing it in the spring is actually the best time to do it, because that's when your body naturally has the tendency to start burning fat instead of sugar, because it's getting rid of the fat that you stored for the winter. So if you give it that extra boost, then you have just like, it's
I love that, which is why this is perfect timing that this episode is airing right before the month of March, right? When we start going into that spring mode. And it's really interesting. As I was listening to you talk about the different red flags, every single one of those, when I have conversations with women, especially women after 40, they, I think, just accept that these are signs of aging. that
Right.
this is just my new normal, right? In this chapter, this is just what my body does. And I guess I just have to kind of go along with it.
Mhm.
But what I hear you telling us is no, that's actually not normal. Those are actually signs that something is out of balance and there is something you can do about it rather than just accepting it as aging, right?
Totally. I mean, I used to have migraines all the time, and I was only 40 and my joints were aching. I mean, but it was all just, it was inflammation.
Right.
And that was because of needing to clean out my system,
Love that.
and there's people who say, oh, detox is a bunch of baloney, but I think they're doing the world a great disservice by saying that, because, well, I'm
Well, they
living
may be
through.
misinformed as to what detox really is, right? I think you've helped
Yeah,
us to get a healthy picture of a detox, because I think there are detoxes out there that are not healthy, that are stripping your body
I
of
agree.
nutrients, that are
Yeah.
leaving you depleted, and that
Mhm.
are not really serving, your body in the way
Sure.
that it should. But that's not what you're talking about, right? And I love how
No.
you bring the mental together with the physical, because
Yeah.
there's such a connection piece between those two, right?
Yeah. And it's really just about, our modern diet is very acidic. So it's about,
Mhm.
balancing the pH in your blood, because that is super, super important. Or, people are like, oh, why do I need to detox? Because my liver does that for me. It's like, well, yeah, but if you're overworking your
Yeah,
liver,
it's only
guess
going to go
where?
so far.
Well, and guess where it's all getting stored? It's all getting stored in your fat cells. So your
Mhm.
fat is not just fat, it's like a toxic waste dump.
Right. I like to say fat is the bubble wrap, right? It like holds all the toxins and then it keeps the toxins from, affecting your main organs, right? Well, bubble wrap
Exactly.
is great if you're sending something in the mail and you don't want it to break in the box, but not what you want to be, putting around your systems in your body. And, it's interesting because when you listed in the beginning the substitutions that you make in the detox,
Mhm.
that's something I've been living now for 9 years. And I very rarely will have the other option, right?
Yeah.
And when I do, it's so interesting because within a couple of bites or a few minutes, I can feel the difference, right? It's
Mhm.
like our bodies get used to that new normal. And then somebody has a birthday and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a little piece of cake because I want to, celebrate with everybody. And I enjoy a little piece because I think planned
Mhm.
indulgences are a part of a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I can feel the difference. And my family sometimes thinks I'm crazy. They're like, there's no way that a couple of bites makes you feel that way. But do you find that like once your body gets used to this new normal, that when you go back, you really feel that?
Well, the funny thing is, it's not that your body's used to the new normal. It's that stuff was doing that to you before too, but you didn't notice
You didn't
because it was
notice.
happening all the time. So say, for
Yeah.
example, I had mood swings and migraines all the time. Well, guess what was causing that? Sugar. I
Yeah.
stopped eating sugar, they were gone. Now, one day I may think, oh God, I really, really, I don't know, I want a Twix bar, and I ate a Twix bar. Now, within 15 minutes, I have a raging migraine.
Mm.
So it's not that. I think people sometimes think like, oh, my body's not used to it anymore, so that's why I'm having this reaction. But
Mm-hmm.
it's no,
You're
you
just
always have that
noticing it
reaction.
now. Right. Yeah. Because it's not noisy all the time. So you can actually notice when it's
Exactly.
saying, I don't like this and this isn't great for me. Wow.
Exactly.
So I'm just thinking, about someone listening right now who's thinking, wow, I mean, if I could, help reduce some of these things, if I could have more energy, if I could, have better joints, if I could have less headaches. I mean, I know that we can't guarantee as coaches, right? Because it's going to be based on that person's body and about how they do the work. But what might be like, a couple of steps for someone to take if they're listening and they're thinking, okay, I'm in, but I have no idea where to start.
For sure. Like, okay, here's a really, really good one. If you can do it, and I think everyone can, you just have to get yourself in the right frame of mind, is every morning, or at least say 4 or 5 times a week, get up a little bit earlier and go for a brisk 15 to 20-minute walk.
Mm.
And what's wonderful about this is not only does it raise your metabolism, it actually keeps you feeling energized all day. It takes away your brain fog. Brain fog is another symptom, by the way.
Yes. Okay.
You'll think clearly the rest of the day. You'll have energy the rest of the day. And what's also cool is, say, certainly at 40, you've got a lot of issues,
Right. A lot
you
of
wake
life
up.
has happened, right?
Yes. So you wake up in the morning and I don't know, maybe you're angry or upset or worried about something. You go for a walk. That stuff spins all around your mind. By the time you get home, it's gone. It's
Yeah.
cleared. You have a clear head. It's just as good as meditating,
Someone asked me the other day what one of my favorite places is, and I said on my country road. Like I love going for a walk or a run, and just being quiet with my own thoughts and
Yes.
just being, right? Sometimes we're always
Yes.
doing, and when you're walking, it's like you can't do anything else. If you're running, you can't do anything else. You're just being. And
Yes.
yeah, and kind of taking in the air around us. And before we started recording, we were talking about you had just gone for a couple hours out in the forest today. And I was saying that I need to do this more. I know my dogs need it too, right? So you can hold me accountable to getting this walking now that I have this is a big reason why. But when we're out in nature, like you said, our life is out of balance, right? We have drama in our families. We have financial worries and concerns. We have weight issues and health issues. We have toxic friendships and toxic thoughts and maybe even going to a job that we don't love. Like we've got all these things in our life, and yet we go out into nature, and guess what? Nature is always in balance because it works the way God created it according to the laws of nature, right? And so that can really help to bring us back to peace, right? And not always living in that chaotic, stressed out place. So absolutely love that.
Yeah. And let's see, what more? Certainly, I'm sure you've all heard this a million times. I'll tell you again, is
Doesn't mean we're
water.
doing it, right?
Drink
I
water.
knew that's what you were gonna say. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'm like, I bet she's gonna say water. Yeah, right.
And I think this is also now common knowledge, but if you in the morning drink a warm cup of water with half the juice of half a lemon squeezed into it, that will also raise your metabolism and flush the mucus out of your system. So that's a great way to start the day. And if you dare, switch from coffee to green tea.
I did that a few years ago. I have a cup of coffee every once in a really great while, and usually it's because I'm with a friend and I just want the experience of it. But yes, it is such a great way to give your body a little boost without all the caffeine, right?
Yeah, well, it'll also help you sleep better at night.
And so often, what are we putting in our coffee? A bunch of dairy and a bunch of sugar and a bunch of fat, and most people don't just drink it black. So, so you've got a lot of things there. Have you ever, I've been trying, it's called Dandy Blend. And so it's actually made from dandelions, but it tastes like coffee. So dandelions, have a lot of great benefits, and it kind of, so when I have that urge for something like that, I can just mix that up, and I'm really impressed. I'm sure somebody who's a coffee snob may really be able to tell the difference, but it gives a little bit of that, which can help with that pick me up. So many great ideas, and what I'm hearing now is like, this is really for everyone. So someone who's listening right now, and the sooner the better, right? Like it's never too late, but would you say like, this is the kind of thing, like, don't wait, like get started on something that's, on some healthier habits that are going to move you forward, right?
Absolutely. Whether you're doing a full detox or not, I think anyone can add the things I just mentioned and start feeling.
Sure. It's like your bank account, right? The sooner you start making deposits, the more interest you're going to build. It has a compound effect. And I love the book, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, because he talks about whether it's in our relationships or in our bank account or in our health, every choice we make is either making a deposit or a withdrawal. And over time, right, that has a compound effect. So starting something like this and saying, I'm just going to start with this one thing is great. But I love how you really walk people through the process. So tell us as we end, how can people find you, get in touch with you? Because not everybody's in the Netherlands. So how do we find, to get with you, and what do you have to offer that can help us with this journey?
Well, I work online. So, I do one-on-one coaching. I also do tailored, like for people who are really busy and like, career, family, whatever. I don't want to have to think too much, because I also have online programs, but I can also like tailor make things for people. And really, you can just find me at yourholisticlifereset.com. And yeah, it's all there. If you want, I also have a free book, which is about how to have less stress. So just some tips on how to have less stress. So you can have that for free. And
is that housed on your website?
It's on my website, and
Okay.
I'll give you a link to it. And certainly if anyone wants to talk more, know more, I offer free, you can have a virtual green tea with me. And,
Right. Love it. Love it. Well, we will put the
yeah.
link to your website and to that book in the show notes. So that way, if you're listening and you're doing something else, like I typically do when I'm listening, you can circle back and you can grab that and get in touch with Pavan and see the resources that she offers, and and start your journey, right? Start this and say, I want a healthier version of me so that I can better live out what God's given me to do. Like that, I'm super passionate about that. Yes. And I love how this ties into an event that I'm actually doing the week that this is coming out. Because when you talked about, so much toxicity is going on, not just in our body, but also in our mind. It's been the month of February. So we're thinking about love. And yet I find a lot of women have a hard time loving themselves. Right. Oh, yeah. And the number one blocker for women, I believe, is self-sabotage, right? Oh. We get in our own way and we may be making progress. Even I've talked to people who've lost a bunch of weight, then got in their own way and put it all back on again and then some. Right. Mm-hmm. And so on this event, it's called All You Need Is Love. We're going to be talking about how do you remove self-sabotage? Because just like any toxin, right? We do not want it in our system, in our head. How do we include more self-love? And how do we create a right self-identity? Because that's really where that comes from, so that we are looking at ourselves from that right place. So if you're interested, I will stick the link to that down in the comments as well. It's a free event, so you can RSVP to either join us live or to get the replay as long as you're on that list. So thank you, Pavan, so much for sharing your expertise and your wisdom. And, I just love what you're doing, because you're really giving people their life back. Right. Mm-hmm. And I am a true believer in, we all have been created for greatness and a purpose, but if our health is an issue, we're going to be really distracted and not able to live out, our purpose and what we're called to do. So key how you are serving others. Anything else you want to say to our listeners today before we go?
Gosh, I don't know.
There's anything we didn't, that you thought, oh gosh, I wish I would have said this, if not, I think we covered a lot.
Sure. Yeah, we covered a lot. Well, it is February, and traditionally in ancient Rome, February is the month of clearing and purifying. And yeah, even if you try it for 7 days, I have a 7-day energy reset, for little people who want a little taste,
right?
Give it a try.
Yeah, something is always better than nothing, right? And it's interesting, once you start noticing the difference you feel, you're going to want more of it. Right. And so I love that, giving a little taste like that. So I'm ending right now with this question, because when I work with women, we talk about 7 key areas of our life. And so I'm just curious, and I always ask this of my guests, which of these 7 areas, if you really put your focus on in this next year, would make the biggest difference for you? So here's the list. It's faith, family, friends, your field of work, your finances, your fitness, or your fun.
Well, that's easy. Fun. Because if you're having fun, you can't be stressed out. And and I don't know if any of your listeners have heard of human design, but I am a human design projector, and we are meant to have fun and learn stuff and then guide other people. And I don't have enough fun. I'm always very serious and working hard, and it's time for more fun this year.
I love it. That's definitely one that I'm working on as well, because right, sometimes we can be doing all the time and not take the time for that. So you've inspired me, and I know you've inspired our listeners today as well. So thank you so much for being our guest today. And to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in again. And I encourage you, when you hear an episode like this and you think of that friend, that sister, that coworker, that neighbor who would really benefit from this conversation, please share this with them. Because our goal is to help as many women as we can to truly have, what they need to be living well and being well. And that's really exciting to watch. So until next time, keep rethinking your priorities, and we will see you soon.